So now that we're done covering the biological and the psychological and cognitive influences on infants and children in terms of their development, we're now going to move on to the last category, which is the social influences on the development of infants and kids. And in that whole big box there, we're only going to really cover Harry Harlow today. So the first thing we're going to look at is a term called attachment. And when an infant is developing, this is probably the most crucial first stage it goes through socially, is who does it bond with? Who does it form an attachment with? If it doesn't form an attachment, it's not going to feel safe enough to further along the other stages of development. And so one of the first terms that you need to know in relation to attachment is this concept called stranger anxiety. So if you have an infant in your family, you'll notice that from birth until about 8 to 10 months, you can pass the baby around and people can hold it and share it, and it doesn't get upset when it leaves its mother. But right around when the time that it begins to walk, which is around a year, it develops really intense stranger anxiety. So if the mother leaves it or passes it off to somebody else, the baby gets severely distressed, as evidenced here by these pictures with Santa Claus. So I'm sure some of you maybe have some really unhappy pictures with Santa because you were probably demonstrating stranger anxiety. But it's an evolutionary benefit that we have, that when we start to walk, we don't wander too far from our mother, which is usually the person that babies will form that strong attachment with. And so stranger anxiety is a really important term when we talk about attachment. But how do infants actually form attachment with their caregivers? There's two things that you have to have: body contact and familiarity. So they have to touch, they have to be held. And so that's one of the most important things that I think psychologists are researching today, is the impact of holding babies and being touched. They've studied people in Romanian orphanages, little infants there where there's not enough caregivers in order to hold the babies. And so a lot of them have they have a lot of developmental delays and low IQs because they haven't been touched enough as a child. Not only do we see this in infancy, but we also see this in adulthood as well. Psychologists have done studies showing that people have stronger marriages if they touch more. And it's not just sexual touch, it's just simply holding hands or giving more hugs or cuddling together on the couch while watching a movie. The more you touch someone, the more attached you become to that person. And they've even seen it in sports teams. So sports psychologists spend a lot of time teaching teams how to properly touch each other during the game, because giving lots of high fives and coming together in the middle after a point and touching each other, or during a timeout making sure you're touching each other in some form or way, that increases attachment as well. Or if you're a coach, touching someone on the shoulder when you're giving them feedback is a great way to keep that attachment strong as well. And then the last thing is familiarity, and this is just who is around most often, and we'll get to that in a little bit. So all of this research that we have about the power of touch and physical contact is relatively new. It used to be that psychologists thought that we formed attachment with whoever was feeding us. And so they assumed that the infant is constantly being breastfed by the mother, and so it forms that attachment with the mother because of that, feeding them. So if that was the case, then anything that fed it, the infant would form attachment with, whether it was the father feeding it from a bottle or some robot feeding it from a bottle, that would be the case. But then we had a psychologist come along, and his name was Harry Harlow. And Harry Harlow experimented on baby monkeys, and this is an incredibly famous psychological experiment. It will definitely be on the AP test, so you want to make sure that you know this experiment. But he created two types of mother monkeys. He had a wire mother monkey, as you can see on the left, and then he had a cloth mother monkey on the right. And on the wire mother monkey, that was where the baby monkey fed. There was a nipple attached to that, as you can see, and then that would be where the baby would get its milk from. And then it also had a cloth mother monkey, and that monkey provided no nourishment. It was strictly just a cloth-covered monkey. And Harry Harlow found that the baby's monkeys did not attach at all to the wire monkeys, even if they were being fed through that wire mother. They only formed attachment to the cloth mother. And this really just turned all the research on its head, and so therefore we get the conclusion today that babies and infants attach to whoever is holding them more and touching them more. Attachment does not come from nourishment alone. And so I want to show you some of the clips from his original experiment, because they're really interesting.
Now, in this experiment, this is the apparatus we use. That looks diabolical. That's just the way the baby monkey feels about it. Flashing eyes, loud sounds, moving mechanical parts, all of these things are designed to frighten a monkey. Now here we have a peaceful, resting baby monkey. Let's find out what his reactions to his mother are when we frighten him. He's scared, all right, and he does what any child will do in a similar situation.
He runs away.
It's more than running away. He was running to his mother, to touch her, to drive away his fear. Contact with the mother changes his entire personality. Look, now he's actually threatening the diabolical object. All right.
So the baby became frightened. And you'll notice that when he brings the cloth mother in the room, the baby goes directly right to the cloth mother because he's scared of the other stimuli. Look, hey mommy, quick, quick, and grabs the mommy, looking at the other items. What's really important to note here is the monkey wants to explore because it has an attachment with the mother. So the monkey will slowly peek out from under the mother into the side of the mother and explore the other items in the room that it's curious about, like a little kind of Curious George-like. So he would look around, but always within reach of the mother, because it's developed an attachment to the mother, but not through food, just through physical touch. Once again, physical touch has created that bond between the baby monkey and the mother. So look, it's exploring the items. What's this? It's a log post, and jumping back to the mother for security, because that's where the attachment lies. You'll notice as time goes by, the baby monkey gets more curious and more daring. But the baby monkey could not be this daring if it didn't form an attachment through the mother. So look, the baby monkey is now really exploring different parts of the room and bringing things back to mom. Mommy, look at this. Look what I got. It's a piece of paper. That's cool. I think I love it. I love it so much. I love you too, Mommy. Mommy, but I love you. Hold me. Hold me. Hold me in the paper. We're going to be together. Oh, Mommy, hold me. But don't look at this. Turn around, Mommy. Turn away. Oh, see, Mommy can't see this. But as you can see, the monkey does have a definite attachment with the mother. Then Harry Harlow took the cloth mother away from the monkey that was raised by the cloth mother. And you'll watch how the monkey, when the mother's not there, cowers in the corner in fear, waiting for the mother to return. But was really, and you'll notice when the mother comes back, it will jump directly to the mother to hold it because it's formed that attachment through touch. Watch, here comes the mother. Oh, Mom! There, you see? It's there. The attachment has been formed.
Harlow took newborn baby monkeys from their mothers. He gave them a choice between a cold wire monkey with milk or a soft warm monkey without. They chose comfort above food every time. Socially, the effects of this experiment were devastating. Raised in isolation, without any love or encouragement, the young monkeys were scared and confused. Here was proof that early isolation damaged them for life. But these were monkeys. Would the same be true for a human child? 20 years later, scientists had the
It's also important to know that within attachment, there is a critical period. Just like when we learn language, and we said that there's this critical period when you're young, that if you don't learn the basic building blocks of language, you never will, as evidenced by Jeannie and her story. There also is a critical period for touch and attachment. And so it's really crucial that when children are young, that they are being held and they are being touched and they are forming attachments with their caregivers. If not, as I mentioned earlier, they can have severe cognitive delays and become intellectually disabled. Then the last term that I'd like you to know for attachment is imprinting. So people don't imprint, but some animals do. And so rather than them having to be touched to form attachment, when they are born or when they hatch from their eggs, the first thing that they see, they usually form an attachment with. And so I want to end this video with just a quick clip of showing you how animals can imprint.